Some time ago, I made a video extolling the virtues of cheap Helman Ghorst, because Helman Ghorst is exceptionally cheap, and that does make him quite appetizing in Domination. So the way you do this is you take Helman Ghorst, you throw him on his cart, and you strip him of all of his spells and abilities, except I've kept Master of Dead just to give him a little bit of self-healing. But we're in Domination against Turin's Slaanesh. Yes, vampire counts are disgusting in Domination, and I need to address it, so here's this video today. Let's take a look at the builds here. Helman Ghorst in the starting army alongside an Unholy Lodestone corpse cart and a Necromancer also on a corpse cart. Zombies in front, second line of skeleton warriors with skeleton spears, and the Sternsmen in the center. 2 Blood Knights, I think I mentioned that. And we've already got some units coming out of reserve there. The Dire Pack for my opponent. Turin coming in hot with Prince Sigvald the Magnificent, Exalted Demonettes, Hellstriders, and Seekers as well. Allurus of Shadows is on foot, looks like, on the steed. Interesting. I like the chariot quite a bit personally, but let's see how this goes. And let's also see about those reinforcements. For the reserve of the Blue Roses, the Regiment of Renown, Bargeist, Devils of Schwarzhofen for their Vanguard, and Hunger. I don't know if that's new necessarily, but Vanguard, Terror should be, well, Terror won't be applicable here because all the mortals have immune to psychology. But anyway, also got a Black Coach for a nice Chariot presence. Chariot's generally good against Slaanesh because they don't have a lot of mass on their infantry. We've got 4 Black Knights for lots of mobile mass, 4 Direwolves as well for fast attack Vanguard, and some Fell Bats for extra flying bodies. For Slaanesh's reserves, Heartseekers, another Exalted Demonette, got a couple of Spawns, a couple of Hell Scourge Hellstriders, 2 Furies, and 3 Hell Scourge Infantry as well. And we're back at it. So because you don't start with visibility on your opponent's deployment, I brought out the Dire Pack to immediately begin scouting Turin's army here and just kind of preparing my positional plays. Because corpse carts and zombies are painfully slow, I need to make sure I have them as much as possible in the right position in advance. So there's going to be a lot of kind of maneuvering here. I'm under the Caravan of Blue Roses, Ghorst's new sub-faction, which has a great color scheme, I might add. This sort of white and blue. Very nice, actually. And just going to be advancing the Unholy Blob, of course. As mentioned, the Necromancer is the one with the actual spells here. He's got Invocation of Nehek and Zombie Summons. They've also given the Necromancers this Lesser Raised Dead. They get 1 free Zombie Summon without having to pay for Winds of Magic, which is quite strong. Pretty nice. Likewise, other notable changes. Graveguard have got magic attacks, including the Sternsmen. Help them trade a little bit better against those demonic factions. Yeah, bringing some bats out here. Getting ready to contest this cavalry engagement with as many cheap resources as I can, so that the Blood Knights don't take the brunt of the damage from, like, getting outmaneuvered and rear charged by Seekers, for example. Blood Knights need to protect as much as possible. They are quite expensive units, and while I can heal them quite easily, I'd prefer to not have to dedicate too much resources to doing so. So if we can just take a little bit of damage and get the passive healing. Speaking of which, one of the reasons why I haven't made a lot of videos about vampire counts, besides the fact that I'm biased against them, is because their healing is quite strong right now, and we did get confirmation that it's not going live at this strength. It's getting nerfed. At least the passive healing sources, like the Unholy Lodestone of the Corpse Cart, are getting nerfed, especially stacking them all together with, like, Kemmler's Chaos Tombblade, the Corpse Cart, the Mortis Engine, all the things together. You could get an insane amount of HP per second on high HP infantry especially. It made it really, really tough. You guys may have seen that in some other videos, but today we're not full heal stacking. It's a little more tasteful than that. We don't have all of the possible modifiers, just a few of them, right? And lots of bodies, so that's kind of the MO. I'm going to do my patented Black Arc push into my opponent's deployment, and we're just keeping some mobile forces here for the time being to protect the backline. I'm going to eventually detach a couple of skeletons over there, but this is the fight everyone wants to see, right? Bats against Furies, and 2v1 here. This is going to go pretty well for my Fell Bats. They are moving so fast, it's a little bit hard to see anything that's actually going on, but another group of Furies is going to rush in here as well, so flapping wings and slashing claws there. Got Demonettes in the front line, just blending zombies alarmingly quickly. The Seekers also charge from the front line, and this is a perfect, excellent, cost-effective use of zombies to just die horribly by eating the charge. The skeletons are then able to come in and countercharge, to kind of trap in some of the Slaanesh cavalry, and also not eat the charge of the Demonettes. Very, very important. Demonettes have super high charge bonus, and charge bonus is insane on infantry because it scales very heavily with their model count. Ghorst also gets into combat. He's going to start his Mortis Drain momentarily. Looks like Sigvald pops Sliver Slash and is absolutely wrecking Helm and Ghorst. But of course, if I lose Ghorst, it's not the end of the world. He's like 750 points in his current form. Likewise, we're getting the Blood Knights into a good engagement here. The Dire Pack, very nice anti-large damage and fast speed are getting the Seekers in a bad position. The Blood Knights can then follow up and clean up this cavalry engagement pretty decisively. Turin has captured this low ground objective with a single Hell Scourge Marauder, so I do need to either go capture that objective from him or push forward, win decisively here, and actually get onto this objective and start capturing it. But here come the Blood Knights, charging through the Dire Pack, absolutely wrecking these Seekers, but a nice little counter charge in here from the Hellstriders as well. A big old pitched cavalry engagement is what I like to see out on this flank here, and it should go decently in my favor. Definitely the Seekers are suffering pretty badly. The fact that I can heal up my units over here, as long as my Necromancer's still alive, which for the time being, because Ghorst is actually the priority target for Turin, as he's a Mortis engine, my Necromancer can just kind of sit here and cackle relatively safe with his fancy, beautiful blue outfit there. Man, I'd actually buy that shirt, minus the dead human hands, of course. Anyway, Ghorst quickly approaching his healing cap. The distraction Ghorst, though, is perfect. He got the Scroll of Shielding just to be able to eat like a few more shots there and allow my other units the time to fight. The Devils of Schwarzhofen off of Vanguards feels very strong. They can come in here and dish insane burst damage to squishy Slaanesh units. I like that pick quite a bit. They're going to be a decent staple of Domination, I think. And then the Blood Knights, a little bit of debuffs in there, but... And you just heard the notification, probably. Ghorst is down. Thank the gods. I think everyone is blessed by this. But a nice rear charge here from these Blood Knights is just going to absolutely crump those Demonettes, do some insane charge damage. And although the Demonettes will turn around and do a nice little response, they're so low at this point and just getting swarmed by so much cheap stuff. Can't take it. Too squishy for this, not designed at all to fight absolute hordes from all directions like this, especially when those hordes include elite shock cavalry. Anyway, to capture that low ground objective, though, just to make sure I go for the greedy triple cap, got a couple of dire wolves detached and the dreaded black coach. Yes, that's right, folks. As you saw in the intro, I'm a fan of chariots in general against Slaanesh because their units are all very light mass. And man, look at the black coach. Looks really nice with the new lighting and color scheme. So we'll get back up to the big important fight here in a moment. But just to appreciate the beauty of a black coach, is some dogs coming in to support. Although the Slaanesh Marauders are immune to psychology, they're not going to get terror routed away. We should be able to just break their leadership through sheer shock damage. Meanwhile, up on the high ground, the Demonettes are pretty much gone. We've still got a little bit of cavalry, get some nice outmaneuvering and surround on my Blood Knights while I'm kind of asleep at the wheel, microing elsewhere. Sternsmen are going to eat a slicing shards here, it looks like, which would be pretty painful for them. Slicing shards stealing a pretty good amount of damage, but does take quite a bit of time to wind up. Also catches some of those skeleton warriors there. Of course, Unholy Lodestone nearby. Provide a little bit of extra healing on top of the Sternsman's innate regeneration. Skeleton warriors just holding back here. And there's the triple cap. So we've managed to execute it. Get that. Oh, those poor Hellscourge Marauders down on the low ground just get absolutely creamed, ripped apart. And up on the high ground, same thing. We're able to push away these cavalry. Of course, Sigvald's still tanking, but who's that in the distance? Oh yeah, you know, at 750 points, I can't help but resummon Ghorst alongside a tide of zombies. You can't get rid of this guy that easy. As the zombies in his cart wave hello. And again, I love this blue color scheme for the vampire counts. I'm partial to blue color schemes in particular. Anyway, a little lash of Slaanesh there. Yolurus had the chariot. She could probably have killed this unit of skeleton spears by herself by now by just cycle charging them, but it is what it is. I do think as time goes on, more and more people will start using the Slaanesh chariot, just like we'll start using chariots against Slaanesh. Definitely the Slaanesh Warriors, and perhaps even the Chosen might change this, although Chosen famously for Warriors of Chaos were not used particularly a lot in this matchup because of the Mortis effects of vampire counts, draining them out pretty considerably, and I think that Slaanesh generally is going to be weak to similar things, although they have the speed and perhaps the burst in a way that Warriors of Chaos don't. I don't know, we'll see. This matchup might end up being a tough one for Slaanesh in a similar way that it was tough for Warriors of Chaos for similar reasons, but we'll see. The Devils of Schwarzhofen, having contributed quite a bit to this battle, fortunately are going to be giving up the Ghost, although their pink mains do fit in very well with the Slaanesh units. Giving up the Ghost, get it? And anyway. And there it is. I mean, Sternsmen able to hold this objective with the Corpse Cart. They're just about at their healing cap, but have been able to tank through literally everything. Ghorst is coming back. Necromancer's also coming back to be able to use up what winds of magic I have left. So, feeling very strong. Definitely feeling very, very strong. And this isn't even going maximum heal stacking again. Although, I'm not sure. Bringing Kemmler might be a little bit too risky here. Something like Nikari could snipe your Lord if he's on the ground relatively easily. And Nikari also relatively vulnerable to Blood Knights, perhaps, though? We'll see. Not sure. I really need to play this matchup from both sides and see for myself, but especially as things are currently implemented with the current healing rates, the vampire counts feel very strong. I think skeletons also don't count as expendable. For sure, zombies do count as expendable for the purposes of capture weight. They don't have the expendable on the tooltip, but I don't think skeletons do either, and I think that's also an oversight, something that will be changed, excuse me, to help bring vampire counts more in line in domination. But anyway, Black Coach wheeling up and around again, coming around the Black Arc when she comes. That's right, coming around to help fend off the attack here from the Furies and the Hellstriders. Those poor doggos just eating a charge straight up to the face. It's not super comfortable, but they should be able to do okay with the Black Coach, and with the victory also imminent. So there you go. Vampire counts are disgusting. I have seen it for myself now. I don't need to play them again. There you go. 650 Ghorst pays for himself at least once. Maybe not on the second resummon, but that's fine. Insane value on the Sternsmen as well from support and healing there. Even the Skeleton Spears, almost 500 value on a Skeleton Spear. Can't argue with that at all. The Vigor Mortis and the healing and the, just the general support. Also fighting very light Slaanesh cavalry definitely helps them actually get some value there. The rest of the Skeleton Warriors, again, trading pretty decently. 488, wow, on a lowly Skeleton Warrior. Very impressive stuff, I have to say. For my reserves, of course, Devils of Schwarzhofen, definitely feel like, while they didn't pay for themselves, they were a pretty strong presence here, carried me in many ways. Black Coach also relatively uncontested. Feels nice here. I don't know about the other Monogod matchups, but I would even continue to take it after they get the Warriors of Slaanesh, because of course it does some nice armor-piercing damage. For my opponent here, turn coming in, valiant effort facing off against the foul vampire counts, but unfortunately just wasn't enough. Although the Exalted Demonettes dished out a ton of damage, 326 kills in a very short amount of time for this one unit. Just still drowning in bodies. The inability to clear out chaff, I think, sort of showed in this build, and if he had the chariot, would have been able to manage that a little bit better, I think. Although, of course, Slaanesh cavalry is very nice. These Demonettes, again, the other Demonette, 489 kills. Ridiculous, but still not enough to pay for themselves in terms of damage value. Just, that's vampire counts for you. Interesting matchup for sure. Definitely want to explore it more in the future. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, though. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button every time I upload a new video. You'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.